Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
Quincy gave me the address. Yes, baby, I'm telling on you too. I have the address.
The address to a tunnel?
Oh, yes. Oprah Winfrey started under Oprah's house. Oprah was just on house arrest recently because she got caught with she want to get out of it, but they got too much on her. That's why Oprah says she'll never have kids. It ain't about the fact that she got raped, was younger and all that, and they made her get the abortion or whatever, or she had the baby and gave it. Whatever the story is about her and the baby when she was young, the real reason why she don't want to have no kids because she's seeing what's going on because she's a participant. I ain't gonna say allegedly, sue me, bitch, because my baby a double agent. He realized that a long time ago, and that's why he said the best way to get back at the man who mother is to talk to the woman that's going to help take him down, which is me. That's why he made the song Different Route. He's going a different route. He's the one that gave me the address to the tunnels underground. And yes, baby, I'm telling on you. He's the one texting me, and I can show you guys the text message with my phone. Oh, I'm on my phone. I'll send him a line on B. He's the one texting me on a daily basis, giving me the heads up. And he wanted me to keep it a secret. He's the one liking, telling me to share. And then when I share, he put the likes on it. I got it as my screenshot. It's on my Instagram. I'm not making it up. Why would any person if somebody is trying to take your father down and you're really on his side, why would you put a like during all of this on anything? Why would you be texting them? Why would you be giving them information and addresses? And my Jane Doe told me that Quincy was the one that used to slide her food and sneak water and stuff to her and talk to her through the door and say, it's okay, and let her know when they left. And when he would come to her, you can take a bath now. You can do this now. He was there the whole time. And the reason why he's being loyal, because he's under distress. And he's been mind manipulated his whole life. Everything he's ever known is not anything that he thought it was going to be. His whole life is a lie. His whole entire life is a lie. And the only person that really loved him for real and that he knows is gone, which is his mother. So he playing all sides.
This has gotten crazy. Shout out to Kadisha Lynn. Shout out to Adria English. And that podcast, I interviewed her. What she is saying is bombshell. It's like the more the truth comes out, the scarier it gets. Like the facade has totally faded away. Now it's like a crime story, like for real. My hearts and prayers go to all the victims. For sure. Stay strong.
Jay-Z, are you serious? I found something, guys. Is that red wine in your cup? Let me get a little closer. Why does it look like that red wine is staining the glass? I never knew it did that. Let me get a little bit closer. Yep, it's stained, and there's only a little bit of wine left. Why would you leave a little bit of wine in that glass just drink it? Why isn't this red wine staining the glass when you tilting the glass to the side? Could just be some expensive wine that stains the glass. Oh, you done messed up now. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. He's just having a good time at his rock brunch party. It was all good just a week ago. I can't believe this, guys. Don't you dare say it. Don't you say it. Because obviously what I'm saying is not even true. Like, let's be real. Shh. Shut up. Don't you say it. I knew it. Now, I'm not sure what this is. Could just be cranberry juice. Gotcha. You know what time is it. You see it. Enough is enough, guys. I'm out of here.
Shout out to True Story 718. Yeah, we all been wondering. I like how he compared it with another picture of a glass of wine. Yeah, it didn't stain. It was just cranberry juice.
So I was watching this really crappy fixed fight on Netflix last night, and they were showing celebrities that were there. And these guys didn't really catch my eye, and Mike Epps didn't really catch my eye, and I don't even know who that guy is. Lennox Lewis didn't catch my eye, the Karate Kid guys didn't catch my eye, and Cedric the Entertainer didn't. Wait a second. Does he look like anybody to you? He looks like somebody to me. He looks like one Martin Lawrence to me. Very much so, as a matter of fact. So much so when you do a side-by-side, I mean, it's like, other than the skin tone, a perfect match. And when you do an overlay, you hardly notice a difference that they're literally transitioning from one person to the next. I wonder if they left us any other clues.
I was smoking that. Ew, wait. Oh, shit. He must have had some of that. Ooh, wait. Look at it. See, that is terrible. That's so.
All for entertainment purposes. I know that celebrities don't put on fatter suits and wear a darker complexion and prance around as other people. I know that. Entertainment only.
Shout out to Fittest Flat Earther. You know, he might be onto something. Martin did play Big Mama, put on that mask and all that extra weight. I never seen Martin and Sid chilling together. So this one is definitely interesting. We're definitely probably smoking that ooh-wee.
Jeffree Star said that celebrities know what was happening around Diddy. I just watched Jeffree Star on the Canceled podcast, and baby, he was explaining how these celebrities use underground tunnels that are in Hollywood. He explained how they do dark and evil shit and how he was coerced and they wanted him to do dark and evil shit. And he even went in and talked about how everything that Diddy is being accused of is real. Jeffree Star, if you are watching this, I absolutely love you. I absolutely love that you are using your platform and using your voice to talk about things that are actually happening, that are too crazy to wrap your mind around, while other people are sitting in complete silence while we have all of these victims going through this horrible situation. You are amazing. The one thing that doesn't sit right with me is the fact that the feds have said that this has went on for over a decade and not one celebrity saw anything. Not one celebrity heard of anything. There is no way that that is possible. And I mean nobody except Jeffree Star has spoke out against Diddy. And I will never forget when Jeffree Star said that he was being blackmailed by these high celebrities. He said in 2020, I was going to expose everything. In a matter of days, the Hollywood elites tried to ruin my entire career, villainize me, and flooded the news with lies to discredit me. If you guys only knew the truth about what they were doing to Britney and Kanye. Anyone who challenges the system gets eliminated. All of this literally gave me chills up and down my spine, but just wait till you hear everything that Jeffree Star had to say. I'm going to go ahead and roll y'all this clip, and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Tunnels under Hollywood.
Okay.
Do you believe in them? Do you think they exist? Have you been to them?
They are real. There's so many different tunnels because the old days, I mean, really, we built our city on top of a city that kind of already existed. So there's just a lot under there.
And do you think celebrities really use them? Do you think people really use them?
Yes.
And you think it's the 1%? Like, you think it's just like the...
It's definitely the 1%. And the problem is I've been invited to these scenarios, and I've felt like the sickest, most lead, cancerous feeling ever, and I've never gone down those routes.
So same with like Illuminati stuff. I'm sure you're going to say the same thing. It's real. You've seen it, but you didn't want to take a part in it.
I'm just not going to be a Hollywood puppet and entertain anything dark or illegal. They tried to blackmail and coerce me over and over and over to do horrible things, and I'm just not a horrible person.
So you obviously believe all of this Diddy stuff is real and darker than it's even shown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad people are finally seeing it. I think when they saw him viciously assault Cassie, it all made sense because all we do is know his music and he's great. And then I think when you actually see someone as a monster, it's like, holy fuck, like, yeah, horrible.
That's crazy. Jeffree Star
That video ruined my month when I saw it.
Yeah.
Horrible, but
So horrible.
it was almost like nothing positive about it, but I was happy that she was validated because I was reading her comments like right after she had sued him and got like pennies, but like comparatively. And everyone's like, you were out for a check. You're so pathetic, disgusting liar.
Yeah, that's so sad.
And immediately after, it's funny. It's all like, go back and delete your comments. You guys are so embarrassing.
I'm thankful there was proof to validate because when women aren't heard, I think that's the worst case scenario is when someone doesn't believe someone that is actually.
Especially when someone's so powerful, you assume that they, or like people.
I mean, listen, I fully believe Diddy Tupac. So it's like, I'm sure she knew all of that. You don't think he's in bed laughing about that shit once that NDA ink dries?
Yeah.
And they're not sitting in bed one day and he's like, yeah, that was
We
fun
don't
when I
say
killed.
NDA ink drying enough. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
so
and
yeah, I
Kim
think
Porter, right?
they offed her, absolutely. Allegedly. Yeah.
Does it ever scare you to say things like this?
No,
But I guess
I have no fear, which is why I don't think they've taken me out. I just didn't want to play the games or be a puppet.
the devil works hard, but Jeffree Star works harder.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Shout outs to Khadisha Lynn for posting this. Shout outs to Jeffree Star for having the courage to speak out to the masses. Like, yo, this is real.
Let me tell y'all a true story. Be so boom, watch this video to the end. I told you the A's are in the W. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go.
You've learned about the UAP activity in our oceans, particularly. Have you spoken with sources who have provided any evidence or eyewitness accounts of these UAPs interacting with our naval forces or being detected by our underwater surveillance systems?
What I told you, huh? What I told you. Ryan Garcia told you too. He told you the A's are in the W and you laughed at him. Oh yeah? Look at this. Come on. No! I told you guys, look at that shit. What is that? Now listen guys, I don't know if this shit is real or not. I have no idea. But it's very interesting. What a time to be alive. I told you. They told you. Did you believe it? What the? Guys, it's going back up. Look. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Shh. Shut up. It's not a game. Come on. Guys, look. This is in Puerto Rico. Look. They in the water. The A's are in the W. I told you. What you thought? You thought it was only in New York City? Absolutely not, guys. Look. They spotted us out in Puerto Rico. So you think you're going out there for vacation. You got something coming for yourself. Shh. Shut up. It's not a game. Stop playing with me, son. TikTok. This is for entertainment purposes only. Ain't nothing in that water but some sharks and some dolphins. Shut up! What do you think? I told you that the A's are in the W. But the A's are really FA's, if you know what I'm saying. Stop playing with me, son. And I'm tired of this, guys. And I told you. What do you think? Are you a scuba diver? You better not go in that water. It's time. It's time, guys. It's over with. Stay out of the water. I told you this a long time ago. The only time you should be in water is if you're taking a shower. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, guys. So don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You know, the A's are in the W for a reason. They ready to bring out the Leviathan. Shh. Shut up. It's not a game. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever outside or if I'm ever in the ocean, which I would never be, and I see some shit coming out the water, don't worry, guys. I got this.
Shout out to True Story 718, but he does make a good point. I'm surprised he brought up the Leviathan. That's a word we haven't heard in a while.
NASA has whole archives of data, much of which I believe will likely have information that will help inform UAP. We need only look. And again, in an era with AI and ML, we can relatively quickly and easily go through it. So I think it's something that we should encourage NASA to do.
This is a presentation from the UATP task force. This is completely absurd. It's nuts, this level of censorship, of redaction on a document. It shows the redaction of how many reports they've collected, for how many years. 2 of the 3 potential explanations are blacked out. The Pentagon, the intelligence community is treating us like children. It's time for us to know the truth about this. I think that we can handle it.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
In your book, you mentioned government employees who've been injured by UAPs placed on leave and receiving government compensation for their injuries. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How can the government deny we have recovered craft if they're paying people because they've been injured by recovered craft?
Ma'am, that's a great question. That's why I think we're here again.
I really believe that we should use this hearing as a catalyst to improve and bolster our air defense capabilities and our maritime domain awareness capabilities, because obviously there are holes in it, whether it be UAP of non-HI direction or NHI direction, or, like as you say, sir, China or any other adversary.
No, because the details in this massive UAP hearing with the whistleblowers from the Pentagon is getting very fucking crazy. Because what do you mean you were being followed by UFOs in a submarine underwater? What do you mean there are large underground UFO water bases? I think the craziest part about this entire thing is that these are actually higher ups. Like, these are people that worked for the Pentagon that are blasting this entire operation called Immaculate Constellation. This article that just came out at 4 a.m. this morning, for whatever fucking reason, blows the lid off of everything we thought was true. Number one, is space the ocean? Is that what's going on? Because it's starting to, I'm starting to believe it. But yeah, they're saying that UFOs experts on existence of underwater alien bases is keeping the American people in the dark. A team of 4 experts consisting of a retired Navy Rear Admiral, something about those fucking admirals and UFOs, just like the one in Antarctica, Admiral Byrd, a NASA associate, and 2 other people are testifying that the government lacks transparency with the public regarding UAPs and alien life. They're going through a 12-page report on an alleged secret program run by the Pentagon called Immaculate Constellation. They're asking questions like, are there any accounts of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our waters which indicate a base or presence between the ocean surface? These motherfuckers said yes. And so that Harvard lawyer back in October was not lying when he said that there was something going on in the Guadalupe Islands. He literally said he knows the exact location for this alien base of hundreds of aliens. I'm gonna do a part fucking 3 because I am mind boggled, and there was just an update this morning of so much information from this shit, and I want to know what really happened to the fucking Titan submersible right now. Because if y'all are being tracked by submarines underwater, what else was being tracked that day?
How would you characterize UAPs?
An enigma, sir, and a frustration. We're talking about technologies that can outperform anything we have in our inventory. And if this was an adversarial technology, this would be an intelligence failure eclipsing that of 9/11 by an order of magnitude.
Are there classified Department of Defense materials related to UAPs that you believe could be safely disclosed to the public without compromising national security?
Yes, sir, I do. I would never, ever try to endorse providing some sort of information that could compromise what we call a blue force technology or capability. But I do believe there's a lot of information regarding this topic, and I've been very vocal about it, that should be shared not only with the public, but most importantly, with members of Congress.
Are you familiar with my friend David Grush?
Absolutely, sir. I had the privilege and honor of working with him myself several years ago at U.S. Space Force.
Last year, as you know, he testified that the U.S. has run a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Are there UAP programs operating without proper congressional oversight?
100%.
What are they?
Unfortunately, sir, I would have to have that conversation in a closed session.
I know you said that, and a lot of people are frustrated with those kind of answers, but we're asking those kind of questions so you all know what the heck we're up against. You also mentioned in your opening statement that the Pentagon's Public Affairs Office employs a psychological operations officer as a singular point of contact for UAP-related inquiries. Why the heck would they do that?
Sir, that's a great question. I would ask the Pentagon. There's a long history here of that individual providing misleading and false information to the public through various news outlets and media outlets in order to discredit this topic. I've personally been victim to it. We have the documentation to substantiate where this information has been absolutely inaccurate, that has been provided time and time again, and it turns out that that individual was also working with former leadership of Arrow at the time as well.
And we punish them by giving them multi-million dollars more than they ask for every year.
So everybody's freaking out because they just confirmed that aliens are in the ocean, but I honestly knew something was up with the ocean the second that I heard that we have discovered more of space than what we have the ocean on Earth. I always wanted to know, how is it scientifically possible that we have discovered more of space that has multiple different planets and multiple planets that we're still discovering till this day that we haven't even stepped foot on than our own ocean? I'm no astronaut, but I heard it takes years and years to get to different places in space, and then we have black holes where we don't even know where the hell those go to. And like I said, we've never stepped foot on these multiple different planets. So how in the world do we know more about space than our ocean on our one planet called Earth? That's absolutely wild to me. There's multiple different planets and we are only one planet, and we don't know more about something that's just on our planet than we do the whole damn galaxy. It really don't shock me that they're saying that aliens are in the ocean, because we know more about the space where we thought that they came from. But does this mean that they're not even really aliens? They're saying that they live underneath the ocean, right? So you really wouldn't call them aliens if they're not from outside space or whatever the hell you want to call it. 2024 is wild, man. I'm done.
2024 has been a year. For real. Shout out to Khadijah Lynn. She makes an excellent point. How do we know about all these galaxies, but don't know about our own ocean? That's something to think about.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries. I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies. For many years, I was entrusted with protecting some of our nation's most sensitive programs. In my last position, I managed a special access program on behalf of the White House and the National Security Council. As such, I appreciate the need to protect certain sensitive intelligence and military information. I consider my oath to protect secrets as sacred, and I will always put the safety of the American people first. With that said, I also understand the consequences of excessive secrecy and stovepiping. Nowhere was this more apparent than in the aftermath of 9/11, which many of us remember all too well. I believe that America's greatness depends on three elements: A, a watchful Congress; B, a responsive executive branch; and C, an informed public. Over the last decade and a half, I learned that certain UAP programs were and are operating without any of these elements. Although much of my government work on the UAP subject still remains classified, excessive secrecy has led to grave misdeeds against loyal civil servants, military personnel, and the public, all to hide the fact that we are not alone in the cosmos. A small cadre within our own government involved in the UAP topic has created a culture of suppression and intimidation that I've personally been victim to, along with many of my former colleagues. This includes unwarranted criminal investigations, harassment, and efforts to destroy one's credibility. Most Americans would be shocked to learn that the Pentagon's very own Public Affairs Office openly employs a professional psychological operations officer as the singular point of contact for any UAP-related inquiries from citizens and the media. This is unacceptable. Many of my former colleagues and I have provided classified testimony to both the Department of Defense and the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and many of us have subsequently been targeted by this cabal with threats to our careers, our security clearances, and even our lives. This is not hyperbole, but a genuine fact, and this is wrong. To fix these problems, I propose three principal actions. First, Congress and the President should create a single point of contact responsible for a whole-of-government approach to the UAP issue. Currently, the White House, CIA, NASA, the Pentagon, Department of Energy, and others play a role, but no one seems to be in charge, leading to unchecked power and corruption. Second, we need a national UAP strategy that will promote transparency and help restore the American public's trust at a time when the public's trust is at an all-time low. This strategy should include a whole-of-government approach, including the academic and scientific communities, the private sector, and our international partners and allies. Third, Congress should create a protected environment so whistleblowers desperate to do the right thing can come forward without fear. As it currently stands, these whistleblowers suffer because of stigma, a code of silence, and concerns about retaliation. These whistleblowers should be encouraged to come forward in ways that protect them against any forms of retaliation. Policies and procedures should ensure that protection, and for those who refuse to cooperate, it is up to the members of this committee and the other lawmakers to wield their subpoena power against hostile witnesses and prevent additional government funding to those UAP efforts that remain hidden from congressional oversight. In closing, we as Americans have never been afraid of a challenge. In fact, we thrive on them, whether it's eradicating polio or going to the moon. We don't run from a challenge, we take it head on. To the incoming administration and Congress, I say to you, we need immediate public transparency, and this hearing is an important step on that journey. If we approach the UAP topic in the same way as we as Americans have met other challenges, we can restore our faith in our government institutions. Together, we can usher in a new era of accountable government and scientific discovery. I believe that we as Americans can handle the truth, and I also believe the world deserves the truth. Thank you, esteemed members of Congress, for your time today. It is profoundly appreciated by many.
Shout outs to Luis Elizondo, former DOD intelligence official. I agree 100%. We should keep it transparent as possible. Public trust is at an all-time low for real. I can't help but think of the Bob Lazars and the Stephen Greers who've been whistleblowing for years. Maybe we need to look back at what they were saying. Take a closer look.
They're very slender, although not as slender as the Orions are. Their arms and legs seem to be more in proportion with their height. They're very dark blue color. Some of them have crystals embedded in their skulls, depending on which group they belong to. We had Konida, he was in our group. He gave himself an Earth name called Cat Stevens. When I asked him why, he said, "Have you heard that music?" So based on, whatever he saw in that and liked in it, he thought that was a good name for him. Of all of them, he had a sense of humor. He understood sense of humor. Some of them were still learning what that meant. He was very friendly, very soft-spoken. Of course, they're telepathic. So when he's in the group, you don't hear any verbal conversation. He's just communicating with them telepathically. He's done that with me. But he also likes to be verbal. He's fascinated with the sounds that come out of our mouths. So I thought that was interesting that he would choose to be more verbal of the group. And
is our voices soft or harsh?
He has a very soft voice. Okay. I never heard any change in tone that would be considered a more negative tone. I always heard more of a positive, sort of a lilting tone out of him. Very soft-spoken, though. You have to really pay attention. Because their hearing is so acute, everything they do tends to be in a quieter mode. The difference is, when they move, when we walk, our arms sort of go in gait with the rest of our body. His arms tended to go together with his body, so I'm not sure if that's has something to do with their shoulder structure or not. They have very thin shoulders, so maybe that they don't have a ball socket like we have. I'm not sure. I never saw him lift his hands over his head, so I can't say that that's what's happening. But it seems to be that everything he articulated in front of him is done. They have very large hands, very long fingers, and it seemed to be articulated that way, more so than movement of the arms. They take very long strides. I had a hard time keeping up. So, I have to take 2 strides for every one of his. And he seemed to be the most social of the group. And he tells me that that has to do with the lineage that he comes from. They're more social. So, I don't know.
Are different lineages do different jobs? Like specific lineage that for some reason this lineage loves to be medical. This one likes to be security.
Right. So they do believe in a lot of healing. That's their forte, is the ability to heal. So, and he says his lineage is great healers. So I'm sure that probably has something to do with it, although they have a lot of technology that they are into. You can ask 100 questions and you'll never know the real them. I tried to get to the bottom of, their social structures, because I think that's important to build on. They don't have a concept of brothers and sisters, that type of thing. I asked him about reproduction, and he just smiled at me. So I'm not going to get an answer there. But I believe that they probably use a pod system based on some other references that he made along the way. He does talk about having to have his body renewed, just like the rest of them. So the cellular structure breaks down based on the gravity. And our sun, he did not like our sun. He said it was too harsh. So that means that where they come from, their sun is not that harsh. Probably of all of them, he was more touching than the rest of them. Most of them pretty much would not touch another. But occasionally, if he wanted to make a point to me or something, he would touch me on the arm. And that was unusual for them to do that. So I never felt threatened by them. I always felt very comfortable with him. He had a lot to contribute, and he would always say, well, you know. I said, no, that's why you're telling me. I don't know. But he would try to contribute to whatever they were working on so that I would have an understanding of it. We talked a lot of science because, of course, that's their forte. And, if I didn't understand something, which I'm not going to understand a lot of their technologies, then he would take the time to try to give me enough information that I could understand. So
why was he so much different than the other Arcturians that you worked with? Because he seemed a lot more open with you.
Right. He says because they're an older race and that they've been around other beings a lot longer and that they've adapted to that, which I found interesting because, most of them say we're millions of years old. So how much older is that, right? But I did notice that he was quicker at making adaptations than the rest of them. So I don't know if that's because his understanding of what was going on allowed him to adapt faster. He seemed to be on that scale of being able to accomplish things at a much faster rate. We've had many discussions on perception and energy. It's fascinating to see how he looks at it because they all have the same theory that, everything is energy, but he will expound on what that really means. He'll say to me, you don't understand. It isn't just energy. It's more than energy. And, then he'll go into, talking about the intelligence of the energy. And I thought that was really fascinating that he was willing to share that.
What makes their society one of the most advanced races out there?
Well, I think it has to do with age. I think
because they've been around the longest.
Yeah, they've been around longer. I think knowledge. That they've, he says they've been all over the universe. They've been all over the dimensions. They're very good travelers of interdimensional spaces. So I think that's why is that they've, seen more. We've talked about desensitizing, and that's really what it is that they're desensitized to a lot of the things that they've seen. They become accustomed to them and accept them for what they are. And so, I think they bring it forward into their culture. I mean, if it's something beneficial, wouldn't you do that? Right, of course. So I think that's what they've done. They're just much older and have had more exposure.
You mentioned dimensional travel. What more could you tell us about this?
Well, they say that they do it easily and often. And I did ask them, I said, does that include time travel? And they said yes. They do expound on that by saying that they're not allowed to change anything in time because it creates a new timeline. And they talk about the fact that we too could be interdimensional travelers. Because we don't have an understanding of it right now, that's why it eludes us. But as soon as we get that understanding, we'll be able to do that too.
Did they have anything to do scientifically with our making?
If this is true, that's definitely the $1 million question. Did they splice our DNA? Shout out to Victoria Whitney.
The family of a missing Gossip Girl star have insisted she has been brainwashed by a Christian cult. Chanel Maya Banks was reported missing earlier this month by her family after they claimed they hadn't heard from her in 2 weeks before she was found safe in Texas. When she was discovered, Banks said she was fleeing her family to be baptized by doomsday pastor Robert Clancy, who had recently advertised a 3-day end times prophetic gathering in Texas and claimed her family had abused her.
Have you guys come across this book, this No Grid Survival Project? This book is amazing. I finally got to order this book because I was so amazed of what people were learning that this book was teaching them to do that I decided to get a copy myself. And when I went through this book, man, I'm like, what's going on with the world right now with all this uncertainty? This book can help you in such a major way. The stuff that just happened in North Carolina, and people need things like this. How to build rainwater catchment system, building a water tank for long-term storage, even things as to building your own water filter. Now, this thing also tells you the materials that you need, and it also tells you the price and where you can get these materials as well. One of the things I don't see people talking about is black powder, which is basically gunpowder. This is the old version of gunpowder. Now, we evolved, things are a little better now, but this is what, we used to use as gunpowder back in the day. You never know what you're going to get into to in the woods, y'all. So black powder, this is important. Even having to build your own generator. And then with all the talks of radiation, having to build your own Faraday cage, y'all, for the coronal mass ejections. Because I know these coronal mass ejections can make people feel all kinds of way, you know what I'm saying? But yes, y'all need to grab this book right now, y'all. With everything that's going on in the world right now, all these uncertainties, you need to grab you one. I'm going to leave the link, y'all, all right? Let's continue to get this shift. Peace in.
Facts. I definitely got to get me a copy. Shout out to Conscious Juice. I have seen that book going around. People talking about it. Let me know if you got this book in the comments down below.
How is Asheville both destroyed and open for business at the same time? As we walk, pay attention to the mud. That's going to tell us the story of the flooding. We have a tattoo studio right there. That's closed. That was flooded. Not sure what that place is, but that's closed right now too. You can still see mud all through here. You can see the mud on the windows here. This is an art gallery, and we can see that this has been totally demoed. You can see that the walls in there have been demoed. We can see here in this salon that we got some sinks just hanging out on the floor. Tons of mud. We'll go up a few feet of elevation. Again, don't know what this place is, but walls have been demoed, floors have been demoed. We'll move along, more mud. We can see here that this is acupuncture and mindful counseling, all torn out. We got some insulation delivered, ready to go in. We'll go up a few more feet and we will find a doctor's office. They're a little bit further along. You can see that they got drywall in, a bunch of building materials in there, so they're moving and grooving. And then you can see here that this is the dividing line. This is flooded. This is not flooded. These businesses up here on Depot Street, this is the River Arts District of Asheville. You can see the gallery is open. There's another gallery across the street. They are open. And as we turn this corner, we're gonna go to a coffee shop here called Penny Cup. Great coffee shop. They are open. The only difference is a few paces and a few feet of elevation. All those businesses flooded, all these ones not flooded.
Shout out to Asheville. Shout out to Krista Peak for letting us see what's going on. Still trying to get back on their feet. My prayers are with you. Happy to see things are getting better.
GSI, a subcontractor for Wright Brothers Construction, drilling soil nails into the open space here on I-40 in the Pigeon River Gorge. As you can tell, in this section, there are 2 lanes that are gone. The eastbound lanes do not exist. So this temporary shoring operation will attempt to save the remaining 2 westbound lanes into Tennessee. The subcontractor is drilling these rods at least 5 feet into bedrock. Once those are stable and secure, they are filled with a grout, and that grout will adhere the rod to the existing rod. From there, there's tension that gets added to the rods, and then finally, a layer of concrete known as shotcrete will be applied to the outside face, hopefully stabilizing what remains of the 2 westbound lanes.
And here is another book that you guys need to have in your library if you shouldn't already, okay? This was created by a real Navy SEAL. It is a bugging guide. It's how to turn your house into the safest place on earth. And we already know that one of the most important things is food, something that's going to keep us going for a very long time that we could snack off of, all right? And this tells you the 38 most important foods that you can keep for a very long time without them going bad. At the top, you've got white rice, black bean, you got your canned meat, your canned vegetables, and canned fruits. This even tells you how to gradually build up your stockpile for months to come, y'all. Y'all never know, man. They're telling y'all, these movies be telling you. And it even goes into detail how to safely store your bugging food stockpile, all right? Y'all see that, you know? And yes, the answer is yes. It even teaches you how to protect your food against pests. That is the #1 thing, because these pests are everywhere, these little roaches and everything, all right? And if you really care, it even tells you the calories and the fat and carbs in the back of the book. They went above and beyond. They went above and beyond in this book, y'all. So I would highly recommend y'all grabbing a copy of this, y'all. The link is going to be in the bio, y'all. Please support the Navy SEAL and support your boy. And let's continue to get this shift. Peace in.
He FaceTime and said, "Who is this?" He said, "How you doing, Court?" You know, it kind of freaked me out, like how this guy got my new numbers. And he said, "You're not safe." And he showed me his outside. It was like Caribbean, beautiful trees, blue water. and it was huge. It was like, I think the guys stood like they were 6'2", 6'4", holding AKs and different rifles and stuff, walking around this ground. He said, "I'll fly you here with my private jet." He said, "You're not safe." He said, he named a lot of bankers, big bankers, all the people was around there. The lawyer, one of the case that was in there, named her. He said, "You're not safe." He said, "Don't eat no food that comes to you." And perhaps later on that day, a box of food did come to my house.
How do you feel that people actually got your address to be able to send you stuff?
Weird. It's real weird. I don't know if I was followed from the courts or anything all the way through, because my address where the Homeland Security found me, it wasn't hard because they got the technology. But for somebody to send me food, it's hard because my address not listed. You understand? You're not gonna just come in my neighborhood looking around, looking for addresses like that. You don't. It ain't that type of neighborhood. Neighbors see you, they could get on 911 quick. So for the food to be delivered, that was one incident.
You actually sent over some audio clips from somebody pretty much warning you that your life is in danger. I'm gonna go ahead and roll those clips down.
This is a good versus evil, right? This is a real battle of good versus evil. Right.
So you feel I'm safe there?
Yes, you are.
I can believe how you looking. I can believe it.
Here you are. Here, let me show you. So this is the Prime Minister's house. Okay. So I live, you saw where the beach is, right? The beach is, so right outside my front door. Sure. So this house is at night, the hurricane tries to go down. So there, I want to show you there's a security gate with a guard right outside the house here, and there's even a little security outpost right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the security gate from the other side. It's right there, but it's on the other side of that bush. But we're very secure here in Antigua, and these people are getting old, and they may have money, but they don't have the weight to make it happen the way that they think that they did, nor that they can now. They're kind of like has-been devils. I'll leave it to you to get here. You let me know when you're arriving. If you want to keep it secret or whatever, you let me know when you arrive or when you've arrived or whatever, when you arrive, but I will have you looked after the moment you get off the plane.
Okay.
You'll be looked after.
I
will meet and we'll just drive here and we'll be fully protected. I have a gun license. I don't have a gun, but my guys have guns.
I don't think we need a gun because nobody will never know where I'm at.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you haven't already, please take a second
just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell,
just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So what we gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Till next time.